Do you want to escape the UK? Well, if so, stick around, because in this video we're going to tell you all about our story and how we escaped the 9-to-5 rat race. If you are new here, welcome to the Northern Fort on Tour YouTube channel, and if you're one of our fantastic subscribers, welcome back. For those who don't know, we are a British family who recently swapped our traditional lives in the UK for a life of travel, freedom and remote income. So if that's something of interest to you, then stick around, because we're going to get straight into all of the details in this video. Let's get into it. So if you watched our last video, it was the UK versus Cyprus and how we left and why we left. Now, we understand that title might have been a little bit misleading because we didn't go into too much finer details. However, that's why I'm creating this video today, and we never expected it to do so well. Our average videos were hitting maybe 200, 300 views. We had a couple with over 1,000, but that one did close to 10,000 in 12 days. So thank you guys. Even thanks to the people who've asked questions in a critical way, because we totally understand, and that's why this video is being made. So if you enjoyed that video, I hope you're going to enjoy this one, because it's filled with so much more information. Our circumstances, I understand, are a little unusual. We're traveling the world and figuring it out as we go, and people always ask us, how do we afford to do this? And the truth is, it's a simple answer: it's remote income. Without remote income, it would prove a lot more difficult, and our travelling time would be cut short significantly. Now, I help manage multiple e-commerce stores, 7-figure e-commerce stores, and that is my main duty. But I'm also a key figure in a new tech startup business. I also have just started and launched a remote worker coach service. You can go and follow that, drop me a DM, remote worker coach, if you are interested in more one-to-one sessions. I can't guarantee you results, that'll be on you, but what I can do is show you the path and lead you to a path of freedom and remote income, and at least show you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. No matter your age, your online skills, your background and your financial situation, it is always possible, but you need to be guided and shown the right steps, because it's taken me far longer than it should have done to be able to do that. And if I had a mentor that could guide me step by step and help me navigate to my path of freedom, then it would have sped things up exponentially, and it would have put me on the right direction straight away. So why did we choose to leave the UK? Now, this used to be a really difficult question to answer, but I think more and more people know the answers to these already, and we have done a big video on this. If you haven't seen it already, make sure you check it out. It'll be somewhere up here. I'm not sure which side when the camera flips, but that one's doing really well. Like I said, it's nearly on 10,000 views in 12 days, so it's doing amazingly. But yeah, check that video out. But in short, basically the main thing was financial struggles. We just couldn't afford to live in the UK anymore. We were nearly in £20,000 of debt, and it just was spiraling out of control. No matter how hard we tried to save or cut back our spend, it just felt like a new bill was coming in every single time, and everyone wanted to take the money off you wherever they could. And secondly was our mental well-being and the safety of our children. It's getting really dangerous now in the UK, especially in bigger cities, and we just felt, with 2 small children, if we could get away even for a year or 2, then we would do, and we have done that, and it's been the best decision we've made so far, definitely. And finally is mental well-being for ourselves as well, because, you know, we're a normal couple, we're a working class couple. We had financial struggles. If you thought we lived happily all the time and didn't argue, then you'd be lying to yourself, and I'd be lying to you. That is not the reality of life. But since we have come over here, we don't argue. At least we don't have big arguments. We might have a little niggle at each other, but all couples do, don't they? But no, nothing like what it was like in the UK. Our relationship is stronger than ever. We've got a proper bond now, and we feel like we're a proper little tribe. So they are the main reasons why we left the UK. Oh. So I'm currently in sunny Cyprus. It is such a beautiful island filled with beautiful people, and if you haven't been already, I highly recommend it. It is by far one of the greatest places I have ever visited, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I mean, look at this. I'm actually not sure if the camera would do that justice, but essentially I come here every morning and I've got this entire place to myself. It is the most peaceful environment ever. I come here for a walk, I listen to my audio books, I listen to the waves crashing against the rocks, and yeah, I know that sounds hippie, and some of my mates from back home will be like, what has happened to Josh? But I'm telling you now, it's changed my life being able to do this. I mean, yes, I could go for morning walks some days if it wasn't torrential rain in the UK, but it looked nothing like this. So yeah, get yourself down to Cyprus, even if it's just for a holiday. And if this isn't enough of a motivation for you to want to find remote income, then I don't know what is. So how can you leave the UK? Step by step, in the most simple form, here's how I would do it. First of all, you need to find your why. This for us was not something we thought up overnight, jumped on a plane and headed off. That's not the reality. This was close to 3 years, 2 to 3 years of planning for us. And even after the 2 or 3 years, we felt still just as strong as we did when we first came up with the idea. You need to find your why. Are you leaving because of financial struggles? Are you leaving because of work-life balance? Are you trying to escape from yourself? Because you have to address these problems first in order to achieve this as your final result. Because you can't escape from your problems, and that's the reality of it. We've come across so many people who were travelling, and the travels have been cut short because they were constantly just on the run from who they are and themselves. And we probably are doing that to some extent still, but I feel like we've ironed out most of the issues that we had back in the UK before leaving, and I can tell you now it's a massive weight off our shoulders, and we are now finally able to be the people we want to be. And if you start putting the plans into motion now and you still feel the same way in a year, 2 years, then it's the right thing to do, and that's all I can advise. Secondly, on the back of that is fix your finances. It's a hard pill to swallow, I know, and it's the last thing that anyone wants to look at, but you need to fix your finances. We were in close to £20,000 debt, and you have to save aggressively. You have to have that goal in mind and work every goddamn hour that you can to save. And you don't need to save £100,000. What I mean by save aggressively is save £10,000 to £20,000. If you've got a family, you might need a little bit more, but it opens up your visa options so much more, and I will go into more detail on that later in the video, so keep watching. But yeah, if you save aggressively, cut any unnecessary spending, and really work hard on this. You know, it sounds horrible, but don't go out for them drinks with your friends. Don't go out for these meals and these nights out and just spending on branded clothing, stupid money just to try and fit into a circle. If you really want to escape, then you have to have the vision and you have to have the dedication, you have to have the discipline, but fixing your finances is rule number one. Next is find remote work, and what I mean by this is, I make it sound so easy, but I don't intentionally mean to do that. But go online and find work from anywhere jobs and just have a look. Don't just ignore the ones that don't relate to you. Read through the job descriptions. That's what I did. You know, read through what is required, and you'll be surprised. Some people just need basic customer service skills or sales skills, and yes, there might be a limit to these jobs, and there might be 600 applicants for one simple job that doesn't pay so well, but just have a look and read through the types of online jobs that work for remote workers. And also get yourself on LinkedIn and look at entrepreneurs. And when I say entrepreneurs, I don't mean 7-figure millionaire gurus. That's not what I'm talking about. There are so many successful people that don't create YouTube videos and just have basic middleman service businesses or basic remote skills that generate them enough money for them to travel anywhere in the world. So yeah, start doing your research, and once you find a few things that you're interested in, scale your knowledge, build your skills, and any free time you have outside of working and saving money is just hammer videos and books on how to become the best in that skill, and that will set you up so well when you get to the point where you want to start applying for remote work jobs. Now, my final piece of advice on how to leave the UK is eliminate as much negativity as possible. Now, I would like to say this is the most important piece of advice, but financial struggles probably slightly tops it. But keep your goal to yourself, or only within a very trusted circle, because we wish now, looking back, that we didn't tell as many people before we left about our vision and what we plan to do, because people get in your ear, people get in your head. Some people are jealous, some people are scared that they're gonna miss you, and it's just human nature. I get it, it's fear. Well, you know, that's what humans do. We live off fear, and we try to be in control of situations. And I used to get angry by people's opinions, but I don't blame them now looking back. I understand why they probably acted in the way they did. But we wish we didn't tell everyone. And the more people that you tell, the harder it becomes for yourself, because people give their opinions. And I'm not saying block out any opinions, because sometimes people have very good points to make. But you don't want to be knocked off track. You don't want to be sidetracked and distracted and demotivated. So eliminate as much negativity as you possibly can and just take action. It's like going to the gym. Not like I know much about that. That's something I'm trying to work on now. I've got a bit more freedom and better mental well-being before you judge. But it's the same thing. It's discipline. It's getting up every day, going to work and grinding and saving, and going home in your free time and learning and building your knowledge and your online skills. And you know what, it actually makes work a bit more exciting. You don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I've got to drag myself in. You wake up in the morning and go, let's go and get it, because I know that a chunk of this money that I'm making today is going to be saved. And I know it's much harder in the climate of the UK at the moment, but we can't keep whinging and complaining and beating ourselves up about it. It is only going to get worse, and we got out at a very good time. But it was still difficult when we left. We only left a few months ago. Not that much has changed, and you just have to get up and do it. You have to wake up in the morning and save and grind, and don't spend unnecessarily. Take action today and have your goal in mind. And I hope this has motivated you, because this is what I needed to hear when I first came up with this plan of travelling with my family. Brexit has made European travel harder, but the UK passport is still very, very powerful. What do I mean by that? Well, it's hard to admit this, because when you've had the freedom to travel Europe so freely for so long, it feels terrible now that you have to stand in longer queues when you get to the airport, and you get more assessed by the guy at the passport border control. He looks at you a bit more strange. But the passport we have is still powerful, and what I mean by that is we still get visa-free travel for up to 90 days in every 180-day period in most countries, whether that's in the EU, the Schengen area, or even outside of the Schengen area too in some countries. So keep that in mind, and don't let Brexit put you off the idea of travel. On our last video, we had a couple of people comment saying, how are you avoiding the 90-day rule and avoiding traveling within the EU without breaking any rules? And the truth is, I think there's a common misconception. People think you can only stay in EU countries for 90 days, and that's just wrong. There's a massive difference between the European Union, the EU, and the Schengen area. And if you don't know about the Schengen area, go and look at it. So there are two countries still that are in the EU but not in the Schengen, and they are Cyprus and Ireland. That is one of the reasons we've come to Cyprus, because we spent our Schengen days in Spain, then we've come to Cyprus to build our Schengen days back up, and then we can go to wherever we want then in Europe pretty much for another 90 days. Now, that is a massive misconception, and there's not enough information about it online. But essentially, you can go to any Schengen country, whether that's Spain, Italy, France, for 90 days, and then you can fly to Cyprus. Now, I know that Cyprus is rumoured to be joining the Schengen at the end of this year, maybe next year, so this as an option might not be available, but there are other options you can choose instead, and I'm going to get into them right now. So Some of the other countries that you can go to build your Schengen days back up include Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, Bosnia, Kosovo, pretty much all of the Balkans. You can't do Croatia. Croatia is now in the Schengen, and that's in Europe. And then you've also got, you know, like Turkey, which is just outside of Europe, and they favour the Brits over there. They do quite like us, you know. It's a holiday destination for many Brits. And then you can also go further afield to Southeast Asia and places like that, Australia, but you might need a visa in certain situations depending on how long you're planning to go there for. But there are other options available. So I know Brexit has caused so many headaches with travel, but I don't want the 90-day rule to put you off, because there is limited information about it online, but there are options available. Now for visa options, so this is for people who are planning to stay somewhere significantly longer and not go travelling as we have done. This is for people who are looking to stay somewhere for 3 to 6 months, maybe 9 months, a year, maybe even longer indefinitely. If you're planning to do this, then there are some easier options available. Before I get into the best countries to go to, I would first advise that if you're looking to retire and not work somewhere, then there are more visas available, such as the non-lucrative visa in Spain. And if you've got, say, £200,000-300,000 to invest, cash to invest into property, then again that can give you a boost when you're looking to stay somewhere indefinitely. I know here in Cyprus, I think it's if you spend 300,000 euros on a property, then they pretty much give you residency. But that isn't for everyone, of course. We haven't got that kind of money, you know. For the average working class person, that just isn't available. Now when it comes to getting visas for remote workers and digital nomads, then the best countries I would advise looking into are Spain. Cyprus is quite good, Portugal is very good, Croatia is good too. And yeah, I think Thailand's now got a very good digital nomad visa available. Some of the countries only accept remote income, so they don't consider any savings that you have, so definitely look into that. And if you are earning, say, 2,000 to 3,000 euros a month and you don't have any children or a spouse, then certainly your options are more expanded. And on the back of that, this is not legal advice or financial advice. This is a disclaimer to say, you know, don't take my word for it. This is just what we have learned and how we have got to this point where we are today. And I would highly advise going, and this is not just for disclaimer purposes, this is the truth, I would highly advise going and speaking to an immigration lawyer from the country that you're planning to go to indefinitely. They will help you with the visa application, and they will just help you iron out any problems that you might come into when you're applying to move abroad. But yeah, if you are planning on moving abroad, then seek out some advice from an immigration lawyer. So what are our plans for the future? Well, I've gone into this a little bit, but yeah, we originally planned to only travel for 1 to 2 years, and who knows, we might at the end of that decide to continue traveling if we can afford to. We might settle somewhere, or we might even return to the UK if it's in a better condition than it is now. But who knows, you know. And this is the beauty of remote income, is you can decide where you want to be in life, your path. And people say, oh, do you not want to settle for the kids? Do you know what about the kids' future and all the rest of it? And what about your future? You know, it's not a way of life to do what you're doing. I'm telling you now, what do you think humans did for thousands of years before we came along and changed the format of living? I'm not being funny, but our kids' development is better than ever. It is better than ever. Steffi's world schooling them. They're not lacking in education, especially, well, the baby isn't, because she's not even 1 yet. But Isaac, you know, he's 5 and he's reading and writing is ridiculously good for his age. Not only that, he treats the world as his playground, as his classroom. He goes up to people no matter their age or background, religion or race, and he speaks to everyone the same. He makes friends with everyone, and that's the beauty of travelling. He would never have had that in the UK. He might have had a few friends from the same street. There's nothing wrong with that, because I've got that. I don't want my friends commenting below saying, hey, watch your mouth, Josh. But no, there is a difference, and I think it would be so exciting to see the type of person that Isaac and Amaya turn into, because they're going to be so multicultural and understanding of the world. even I can't comprehend it. And on the back of that, world schooling has been just an amazing experience so far. Yes, it's been challenging, I'm not going to lie to you, but Steph does more of the world schooling than I do, and she has done a wonderful job so far, so I highly recommend it. And at the same time, you know what, I know we're sharing our world with YouTube, but it's our business as well, and we feel we're doing the right thing for our kids. We're not doing this for selfish gains and selfish reasons. The main reason we came out of here was for them. So, you know, we've got them in mind at all times, at the forefront of everything. And if anything changes and they start to get affected, then we'll look at other options and we'll consider other options for them. And another thing, just before I finish on this, because it gets a nerve, it pulls a nerve on me, and the other thing is, most countries in Europe don't send their kids to school until they're 7 years old anyway. So yeah, now I've got that off my chest. But yeah, that's our plans for the future, and if you've got any questions about world schooling or what we plan to do, then please comment them below and we'll do our best to answer them. So I'm just going to end this video with this beautiful view here out in Cyprus. Now it is a little bit windy, I'm sorry about that, but I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope I've answered more of your questions, especially if you came from the last video. I hope this covers more of the topics and is a little bit less confusing. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button, and if you do want some one-to-one guidance on how to earn remotely, then make sure you follow the Remote Worker Coach on Instagram and drop me a DM. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.